Hello and welcome to German Lessons with Mr. Ferguson. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zum Deutschunterricht mit Herrn Ferguson. Die 9. Stunde, the 9th lesson, ist wie man regelmäßige Verben benutzt, using regular verbs in the present tense. Bevor wir anfangen, please remember to like this video. Bitte klickt gefällt mir and to subscribe to my channel so that I can keep helping you with your German. Bitte vergesst nicht zu abonnieren. If you're enjoying my videos, please consider buying me a coffee by clicking the banner now. All contributions are gratefully received and allow me to continue to bring you new and exciting German content whilst keeping it free to access on YouTube. Thank you to those of you who have already contributed. It's very much appreciated. Vielen Dank. If you're watching this video, I hope you've already watched lesson 8 in this series, which introduces the verb haben. If you haven't watched that video and don't have an understanding of how to conjugate and use haben, please click here to do so now. It's important to learn haben off by heart because it's a verb which has regular present tense endings. That means that if you want to conjugate a new verb, and it's what we call regular, which the vast majority of verbs are, it will conjugate in a similar way. For this example, we'll look at the verb machen, which means to make or to do. To conjugate a regular verb, you take the infinitive, the form you would find in a dictionary, and take the ending off, which leaves something that we call the stem of the verb. Think about a flower. To be left with the stem, we chop the end off. The end of the verb is the en at the end, so the stem of machen is mach. We then add the same endings as we used for haben. If we compare the forms of haben to the forms of machen, you can see the endings mirrored. For example, ich habe, ich mache, meaning I make or I do. Du hast, du machst. Hat, macht. Sie hat, sie macht. Es hat, es macht. Man hat, man macht. Wir haben, wir machen. Ihr habt, ihr macht. Sie haben, sie machen. Sie haben, sie machen. Knowing the endings of haben means a whole new world of verbs are available to you. Here's a quick list of regular verbs which will conjugate with the same endings as haben and machen in the present tense. Spielen, to play. Kaufen, to buy. Lachen, to laugh. Lernen, to learn. Tanzen, to dance. Lieben, to love. Hassen, to hate. Wohnen, to live. Trinken, to drink. Bekommen, to receive or to get. Be careful not to confuse the English verb to become with the German verb bekommen, to get or to receive. I once heard a German make this mistake while ordering a McDonald's in the UK and ended up saying, "I want to become a cheeseburger." Some examples of these verbs in action. Ich lache, I laugh or I am laughing. Liebt, he loves or he is loving. Sie tanzt, she dances or she is dancing. Spielt, he plays or he is playing. Man lernt, one or anyone learns or anyone is learning. Wir kaufen, we buy or we are buying. Sie hassen, they hate. In any of these examples, we can put the word nicht, which means not, into the sentence after the verb to negate the meaning. For example, ich lache nicht, I don't laugh or I am not laughing. Liebt nicht, he doesn't love or he is not loving. If you want to know more about how to use nicht to negate German sentences, you can watch my using the word nicht video by clicking the banner now. When combined with du, regular verbs get an st ending. For example, du liebst, you love in an informal singular sense. Du kaufst, you buy. Du lernst, you learn. If the verb has a stem that ends in an S, a Z, or an estteten, we only need to add a T with du, as the S sound is already there. For example, hassen, meaning to hate. You hate would be du hast, not du hast. Tanzen, to dance. You dance would be du tanzt, not du tanzest. Heißen, to be called. You are called du heißt, not du heißt. Similarly, if the stem ends in a T or a D, you add an extra E before the du ending of st or the er, sie, es or man ending of t. For example, the verb arbeiten is to work. To say I work, we simply say ich arbeite. But to say you work, it is du arbeitest. He works is arbeitet. We work, wir arbeiten. Another verb where this happens is finden, to find. Ich finde, I find. Du findest, you find. Sie findet, she finds. As I mentioned earlier, to form a simple question, we swap the pronoun with the verb. This is also how we would translate the word do or does in English questions. For example, du kaufst, you buy. Kaufst du, do you buy? Lieben Sie Schokolade? Do you love chocolate? Findest du? Do you find? Wie findest du Deutsch? How do you find German? And that's all there is to it when it comes to conjugating regular verbs in the present tense. If you treat all new verbs as regular verbs, most of the time you'll be right. It's a good idea now to pause the video to take any notes about how the conjugation of haben mirrors the conjugation of all regular verbs, how to form questions, and how to conjugate the dual form of verbs whose stem ends in s, zet, or estzet. Gibt es noch regelmäßige Verben, die du benutzt? Are there other regular verbs that you use? One of them appears here, benutzen, meaning to use. Notice how, because the stem ends in a Z, we don't have to add st, even though we're using the pronoun du. If you're a native German speaker and you think I've left out some important regular verbs, please let me know by writing a comment below. Bitte schreibt einen Kommentar. Also, please remember to click subscribe to receive all of my German lesson videos, language learning tips and updates. You can also follow me on Instagram with the username Herr Ferguson and on Twitter under @HerrFerguson. Otherwise, from me, it's Danke und auf Wiedersehen.